Hello and welcome to Balanced Existence. I am here with day 15 out of our 31-day series where I am recording a tarot reading every day of the month of December 2025. But of course, this is timeless, so whenever you come across it, I trust that there is some valuable insight that will resonate for you today. And of course, if you're not already subscribed, be sure to subscribe so that you can stay on this journey with us through the entire series, which is all about aligning with your highest timeline and recalibrating your energy. So as always, we're going to start with the Oracle card and astrology card and then move into the tarot. So the Oracle card we have is the Friendship card. There are unicorns on this card, and it says, "Be with the ones who make you shine, who love you and really care. Keep those and let the others go." This is so powerful because I'm getting chills because, this is such a lighthearted concept, but at the same time, it can be a very heavy grieving when you come to the realization that you need to let certain friendships go, or that you've outgrown them, or that you can no longer live on this timeline that you used to live on. So if you're going through that at this time, like, your spirit guides are with you, your angels are supporting you, and you do have the discernment to know, what is meant for you and what, you're being called to move on from in this time. And then it's also calling you to reflect on any meaningful connections that you do have in your life right now, connections that do feed and fulfill your soul, whether they're more recent ones or long-term, long-standing ones. And, especially in the manifestation mindset, to recognize what you're grateful for, to recognize what you do have already that is aligned with what you want. That can only help your process. So, of course, it can be easy to recognize gaps or, voids where you feel like, oh, I wish I had a friend for this hobby, or I wish I had a friend I could talk to about, my spiritual journey, things like that. But it's just as important, because it is important to recognize where, you may be seeking something in life, but it's just as important to recognize where you have a connection that fulfills you, or, any aspects of your life that do resonate with your frequency and do meet your needs and do nurture your soul. So whether this is a general sense of belonging with your community and having that support system, or whether this is like a one-on-one friendship that's like a soul companionship, where there's emotional reciprocity and intimacy to the levels that you require out of a friendship. Like, take it as it resonates, but that's what the Friendship card is calling forward. And then with the Moon card, this is about emotional clarity. This is about digging deep, recognizing hidden truths, especially in the context of your connections with others. And, picking up on any subconscious patterns in your friendships or relationships, and just getting to that deeper understanding of what you need, what nurtures you, what supports you, what feels safe, right? Like, who are the friends that you really feel like you can be yourself around, or, that you really feel understood and accepted and loved and cared for. So Spirit is definitely calling on you to reflect which of your friendships are aligned with your soul, which are the relationships that need transforming of some kind, and which are the connections that require some kind of release. And I'm also picking up on this collective that has done the inner work, and I'm getting chills feeling into this. Like, you have cleared the old emotional cycles. You have cleared, the old parts of you that were aligned with these maybe lower frequency friendships. And you have really raised your frequency and made space. You've shined like a light into your inner world. And that is what's making space for more soul-aligned companionship. You've cleared out the old stuff. You've brought in such a beautiful, radiant light into your inner world. And so now all that's left is to just attract and receive in the support systems and the friendships that are going to resonate with your frequency. So Spirit is reminding you of, what beautiful work you've done to get yourself to this place of alignment now. So I'm going to read the moon card and then we'll pull some tarot cards. It says, the moon shows us the regularity of cycles and teaches about the importance of change as it moves through its cycles each month. It governs emotions, instincts, and intuition, as well as memory and imagination. Issues around maternal figures, traditions, and adaptability can also be represented by the moon. Yeah, so what I'm picking up from that is definitely, I'm getting chills with this as well, the cycles of change and just the ebb and flow that is such a natural part of life. Spirit is saying, don't take it too seriously and release the shame, right? Because sometimes it can feel like when you need to release a friendship, like I said before, it can be something that feels heavy, something that you have to grieve, like a big change where you have to, move on from something that you once did resonate with and did bring you a lot of joy and you do have a lot of beautiful memories with. And so it can feel like there is some sense of failure or some shame around a friendship that you outgrow or a friendship that, doesn't maybe meet your expectations, which of course expectations are an egoic concept, but they're a very normal part of the human experience where, we say things like best friends forever, BFFs, but if you're going through a phase in your life right now where you're feeling like the people that you once kind of labeled and categorized in your world as being long-term, forever friends, and you're feeling like you're outgrowing or they don't resonate, and Spirit is reminding you, don't feel like there's something wrong with you because, the person you thought would hold this role, it didn't work out that way, right? That's not the true measure of success. The true measure of success is you knowing yourself, which you do, and you having done the inner work, which you did, to get to a place where you can so clearly discern, what is aligned with you and what is not, without having some kind of prediction or, expectation about this person's role in your life. But releasing the shame, but while also allowing yourself whatever time to grieve, or maybe there's even anger you're feeling around how a friendship, failed you. I'm hearing again, these expectations, you might have some heavy emotions around a particular friendship. And if this may even be resonating for you for a romantic relationship, take it as it resonates. I'm sure that there is a message here for you, and just a reminder to, have a more lighthearted approach to the journey, and that kind of surrender of recognizing that you don't know everything and you're not meant to know everything. You're not meant to know exactly how a particular person will show up in your life long term. And of course, this is much harder for us to grasp, especially when it comes to romantic relationships, when we get married and we, form these contracts, and then to have to get divorced, and break a contract, it can feel like a failure. This is a very common stigma in our society, right? So, whether it's a friendship, whether it's just an acquaintance that you thought was going to become a friend, but then, they ended up not meeting the expectations you thought they would, or they drifted away, or whether it's something as heavy as a divorce that you're going through, right? Whatever it may be, Spirit is giving you that permission to release that shame but also to feel what you need to feel the shame, release it, feel the sadness, the grief, release it, feel the anger, release it, because again, you've cleared out those old patterns and old stagnant energies, and you have made room for soul aligned connections, and so you are ready to attract them. And there's nothing wrong with grieving or processing the last bits of those old timeline energies. So, okay, that's the long tangent about the cycles of our friendships to start us off. So let us move on to the tarot. So we have the Hangman, the Death, and the Eight of Cups. Yeah, this is so fitting. So we actually just got the Hangman yesterday. So definitely go check out day 14 and the rest, if the rest of the days as well. I highly recommend checking out, especially if these videos are resonating for you. But the Hangman is all about shifting our perspective. I'm getting chills channeling into this. I'm actually getting a lot of chills right now. So this is very powerful. So if you're zoning out right now, pay attention. This is key. So the Hangman, this is about surrendering enough to open your mind, open your heart to taking on a new perspective, to pausing and reviewing your life, and having, gifting yourself that moment of spiritual reflection. And not just a moment, but a constant practice. This is something we can constantly go back to. And it really takes letting go of control. When we talk about these expectations of our friendships and how they show up for us, when you take that moment, and I'm getting chills again, and you think to yourself, wow, this person I've called my best friend, what if they're actually not my best friend? That takes a lot of releasing control. That can be really heavy. This feeling of, oh, I thought I knew what this person was to me. I thought I knew what the future held for us. And now, everything was turned upside down, which is exactly the Hangman, right? Maybe this person I've outgrown them. This person that I totally was certain that we would never outgrow each other. Right? That takes a huge level of surrender and letting go. So, but it's from this shifting of perspective that your friendships are able to evolve. And that is evolution, right? When we talk about evolving, some things die, some species go extinct. If we're talking about the, biological evolution of our planet and the species on our planet, and some new species take, form. And that is a natural part of evolution and transformation, is some stuff has to die and some stuff, lives on, and not just lives on in its current state, but is improved and expanded upon. So as you're taking this time to reflect and allowing these emotional truths to come to the surface, I'm hearing journaling. So I would definitely, I'm getting chills again. So this is a very important message. Definitely take that time to journal about just reflecting on your friendships. How do you feel with each friendship? What are your honest truths about each one? And, allow that time of slowing down and really seeing people for who they truly are, and not just the expectations you have, for them. And to just simply observe, and, you don't need to react with, of course, if emotions come up, if you start feeling sad or anger or whatever, of course, that's okay. And you feel that, but this is a moment to just observe calmly and recognize that, anything that you're feeling from these reflections are a completely natural part of the human experience and the ebb and flows and the cycles of our friendships. And so it's brilliant that you are gifting yourself this time to even have that reflection, when a lot of people are just going through the motions and they're not, taking that empowered stance and action, to really be a co-creator of their life, right? Instead, they're just kind of taking more of instead of taking a proactive approach, they're taking a reactive approach where, it's kind of like, oh, okay, this is happening to me. Okay, guess this is my life. Oh, okay, this is happening. Guess this is my life. You're not doing that. You're thinking, wait, what life do I want? What's aligned to that? What's not? And then I'm going to take the empowered action to release what's not aligned and continue to focus or refocus and prioritize that which is aligned. So this is a huge shift that you're going through, and the journaling exercise will be a huge breakthrough for you. Seeing these dynamics in a new light, seeing and recognizing what's healthy. And then with the death card, again, transformation, ending an old phase, especially with the moon card and the death. I mean, this is all about like the constant cycles of life. Like after that release comes a rebirth. And this is the evolution of our emotions. This is the evolution of our friendships. So allowing what friendship, or again, it could be romantic love for you, I'm getting chills again. Allow it to fall away, because that's what leaves room for real, again, soul-aligned connections to form, real emotional intimacy and safety to form. And I've used this analogy before. It's like if you're trying to remodel your living room or redesign, like the interior design, or even if you're just simply trying to get a new couch, right? You have to clear the old one out so that you can bring in the new one. If you're trying to get new furniture and light fixtures, you have to get rid of the old ones before you can install the new ones, right? So the death card is beautiful. It's a brilliant opportunity to let go of, what's not serving us so that we can make room for that which is. And with the Eight of Cups as well, we're leaving behind this old timeline, and I'm getting chills again, of this old timeline of emotional disappointment. And again, I'm hearing the word expectations. Like you may have felt like you were depending on a certain friend and they didn't meet those expectations. And I'm also hearing like over and over. So like this might be like somebody that you've been in cycles with, again, whether it's friendship or romantic, but something where you kind of just kept holding out for it to get better and it didn't. And so the Eight of Cups is like, okay, yeah, we're gonna move on from this. And the Eight of Cups is about having that emotional maturity to turn away from that which no longer fulfills you and to move towards your own spiritual calling and your own spiritual alignment. And this is a beautiful phase of inner realignment for you. And we have gotten the Eight of Cups a couple times in this series. So this is definitely a big theme of what's going on. And if this is resonating for you, again, I highly recommend checking out the previous readings. If you're feeling like you're in this phase, or you're coming out of this phase, or you're ready to start this phase, again, everyone's timing in the collective will be different, but this phase of letting go of these old emotional baggages and patterns and limitations, definitely like this is, if this is where you're at, then definitely check out the other readings. We want to move towards relationships and friendships and connections where our heart is seen. Like we're seen, we're understood, and we're accepted and loved. So you may be seeking to distance yourself from someone emotionally, like maybe somebody that you've opened up to a lot. And you're realizing like you're not obligated to continue this, and that you'd rather move towards things that are going to bring you emotional resonance. And at first, this may be something that triggers anger in you or resentment, or even just like sadness or like kind of feelings of rejection. But once you kind of work through those emotions and not allow your ego to kind of spiral into the stories around these negative emotions we so naturally feel as part of this human experience, you'll recognize that this is about just getting in touch with your inner truth. And there's nothing more brilliant and full of love about that. So let's see what else we can pull here. We have the Lovers and the Six of Wands. Interesting, yeah. So the Lovers is about having to make a choice. And so, the choice you make has to be in alignment, right? And then when you make that choice, you get the union, you get the soul connection, you get the harmony in that relationship. We did get the Lovers, I think, once before as well in this series. But, constantly as we're seeking alignment with our highest timeline, we need to be making choices. And to know yourself and to know your truth is what is the prerequisite for making those aligned choices. And, a big theme of this reading is about like emotional maturity and emotional alignment. And so this is about making a choice that's going to, lead you to emotional trust in your relationships, whether it's platonic or romantic, and how we can deepen our connections, through this emotional resonance and alignment with, these other people. Or these, this also could be talking about like generally your sense of community. But that emotional connection is a huge soul need for you. So let's prioritize that and remember that that is the basis of that which we seek and that which we are aligned to and magnetizing into our reality. And so this is kind of that step where now that soul bond is going to come into clearer focus because you've made an intentional choice about it. You've now allowed yourself to shift into that deeper, emotional connection or that deeper authenticity in that friendship or love or companionship or sense of community, right? And then lastly, with the Six of Wands, this is the victory, right? Like this is the positive attention. This is being recognized, being supported, and just being so aligned with your path. Like, I'm getting chills again. Like, this is about being seen, like deeply and like authentically, truthfully. Like people see you for you. People see you clearly. In combination with the moon, the moon is exposing those hidden truths and those areas that you hadn't been emotionally recognized before. And so the Six of Wands is transmuting and alchemizing that into this like beautiful, bright kind of celebration of you in your connections. And, the moon card, we have like these themes of blue, and it's like, sometimes the moon can be things that are kind of foggy or hidden or unconscious. Whereas the Six of Wands is this bright yellow, orange, red card. And so it's just such a beautiful duality. And I'm getting chills just channeling into the duality of, the moon. Of course, the energy of the moon is always with us, right? We're always going through some cycles, and some phases of those cycles consist of times where you're not going to be fully aware of certain truths, right? But then you keep working through it, and then you get to that Six of Wands where you celebrate finding your people, you celebrate that sense of community. It's like there's people cheering in the background, right? It's just such like a beautiful victory, and like we did it, like we got down to the bottom of like our deepest hidden truths, and now like my community is so aligned, and it's like, look at how far we've come. It's just that kind of beautiful energy, this attention, appreciation, recognition from whatever connection this is resonating for you, a friend, a romantic, a soul connection, a community. Yeah, it's really beautiful. So I'm hearing that like your emotions, you're going to be feeling I'm really like stuttering over my words right now. I think it's just like such powerful like throat chakra energy as well. Like just this sense of like you can speak your truth and everyone around you is like, yes. And they're just like validating you and cheering for you. What I was going to say is I'm getting this like sense of emotional support and validation, right? So when you can confess or express anything, and this person or this community will like unwaveringly and unconditionally see and understand you for who you are. And that's powerful to have connections like that. And I'm getting chills again. So I'm going to leave the reading here. Please let me know what resonated for you in the comments, what intentions you may be setting around this, what breakthroughs you may come across as you're, journaling and reflecting on this. But this is definitely a profound turning point in your relationship. So day 15, the start of week 3, off to a beautiful start. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will be back tomorrow with day 16. Bye.